It is now or never for the Bitcoin price. Right now, we're creating a very interesting pattern. We're creating a parallel channel, and we need to be talking about what's going to be happening next. We're interestingly potentially confirming a higher low right now for the Bitcoin price. So we need to be talking about if this is going to be valid. Is it going to be holding? Are we going to be holding this massive level of support right now? And I have a lot of different charts and a lot of different scenarios mapped out for you guys. So make sure to be watching till the end. We're also going to be covering Ethereum. I have all the relevant levels and I have a lot of interesting data points to be discussing with you guys also. And we're going to be also delving into the liquidation heat maps for Ethereum and also for Bitcoin. Just a quick mention as well, we also have a lot of up and coming news for this week. We have the jobs data coming up. We have a lot of labor market data coming up for the US. So you can see we have jobless claims, we have unemployment rate, the non-farm payrolls, we have ISM data coming out on Wednesday. So this is going to be a jam-packed week with a lot of volatility. So we need to be covering all the relevant levels and what's going to be happening in this video. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight away in towards this banger. Bow. So looking at the short term for Bitcoin, we can see that we're holding in this parallel channel right now. And the minute we're potentially forming a higher low from this recent lower low over here. And if we can actually confirm this higher low, it's likely we can actually start to break above this parallel channel, retest it and move towards the upside. Now, one thing that is potentially going to be holding us back from actually confirming this higher low. So you can see we had a low, we had a higher low here, another higher low, and this is potentially another higher low after we had a liquidity sweep for the top side and we created a lower high over here. So it's very important that this confirms as a higher low for us to continue a bullish trend. But one thing that is potentially going to be holding us back is the fact that we're trading at resistance right now. So we can see that we have a mid-range resistance and it's potentially going to actually move us towards the downside and maybe grab some liquidity before actually moving towards the upside again. So that's one cause of concern that I do want to be highlighting. If we can't break above 112,000 and continue the trend towards the upside and actually reclaim back in this range over here, then it's likely that we can actually move towards the downside in towards 106,000. And if we look at a liquidation heat map on a 1 week scale, you can see that there's some liquidity at 108 still piling up on that downside. So a lot of people have been talking about this, and my honest stance on this is the fact that we're trading at resistance now. So if we can't actually break above this mid-range, then and we spend time below this mid-range level, it's likely we can actually move in towards this $106,000 liquidity pocket before actually moving towards the upside again. So that's what I'm going to be thinking about, that liquidity. But yeah, I'm not going to be getting bearish because we're trading at massive level of support, and right now we're holding this level of support. So in my opinion, I'm not going to be getting bearish. I'm still going to be bullish and I'm still going to be looking for higher prices. Now, in the event that we can't hold this level, so in the event that we actually have a liquidity sweep and we can't hold this level over here and we decide to move towards the downside, the next level I'm going to be looking at is this 100k level. You can see we've had previous reaction points at 100k over here, here and here. So that's going to be the next level I'm going to be watching for a bounce if we move towards the downside. But that's a step ahead. But that's a few steps ahead. So let's not jump the gun. We need to still wait for what's going to be happening. Are we going to be breaking above this resistance level, or are we going to be holding below it? Then we need to be seeing what's going to be happening, because that's what's going to be giving us the biggest clue on whether we're going to be trading to 100k or whether we're going to be testing our range highs. But one thing to bear in mind is the fact that on this dump, we actually traded in fear. We had the fear and greed actually move as low as 28, and yesterday it was at 33. And you can see that majority of the times when we have fear and greed actually trade at fear, as you can see by this chart, it marks a local bottom. And we never actually top out in a phase of greed. I don't think that we've topped out, and I do think it's now or never for Bitcoin, like I've talked about in the thumbnail, because every time that we've traded in fear, you can see right here that it's actually marked the local bottom. And right now, the Bitcoin price is actually really low for the fear and greed. So I'm not going to be getting bearish. I do think that it's very likely that that was the bottom there and we can actually move towards the upside. So another reason why I'm actually holding a slight bullish bias is the fact that we have the 1st of October actually coming up. And you can see every time that we had the 1st of October coming up, we actually moved towards the upside drastically in the month of October, in towards November and December, so the rest of Q4. And you can see right now that in 2023, at the 1st of October, it has seasonally weak price action for the first few days before actually moving towards the upside, and in towards the 1st of October in 2024 we moved towards the downside for a few days before moving towards the upside, since a lot of people will be thinking near the start of October we're supposed to move massively parabolic, but for the first few days we tend to actually see weak price action before we actually enter Q4 for full steam ahead. And you can see right now that entering this October 1st, we're actually moving towards the downside, and sentiment is trading at fear, and we've had really bad sentiment across, you know, crypto Twitter and across the market. You're seeing a lot of people lose hope. So I think that we've had this move towards the downside for a few days already, and in towards 1st of October it's likely we can actually start to move towards the upside. Now for that longer term, we can look at the gold price against Bitcoin, and we can see that every time that gold actually starts to move parabolic over here, you can see Bitcoin tends to lag before actually catching up. And you can see over here as well that Bitcoin was actually moving towards the downside whilst gold moves towards the upside, and shortly after we've seen Bitcoin actually catch up to what gold has been doing. And right now Bitcoin is consolidating whilst gold is going parabolic, so I do think it's likely Bitcoin catches up very soon. And we can actually plot gold with the 8-week lag. Since Bitcoin lags gold, we can actually bring gold back to where Bitcoin is, and we can compare what's happening, and we can see the price action is very much the same, and it's actually predicted this bottom quite nicely, and I think it's likely we can actually continue towards the upside. So in my opinion, this is a massive signal in the longer time frames telling us that it's likely we can move towards the upside, since Bitcoin tends to lag gold and we tend to catch up. So if you lag gold itself to bring it back to where Bitcoin is, you can see it's pointing that we're going to have a massive move towards the upside. So if you're liking the video and you're agreeing with my opinion, make sure to check that first link down below for BitUnix. BitUnix is a non-KYC global exchange that's offering you guys a massive $800 in deposit bonuses. So if you click that first link down below, it will take you to this page over here where you can sign up within 2 minutes. And obviously this is a non-KYC, non-VPN exchange that's offering you guys $800 depending on your trading volume. So if you're already going to be trading, it's better you trade on BitUnix here, which is going to obviously help support the channel, and obviously it's going to help you yourself, since you're going to be getting $800 in deposit bonuses depending on your volume. So you have up until the 22nd of October to actually trade on this exchange and actually claim your bonus. So make sure to click that first link down below if you're interested in trading yourself. Looking at Ethereum, we can see that we've actually tested our range highs right here, and we're actually holding it quite nicely. So this is actually a massive level, right? We needed to hold on this dump, and we can see that we've actually held it quite nicely, which is looking very good. We can see that as well, that we had a liquidity grab on the shorter time frames, and this is exactly playing out. So the next thing we need to see is a reclaim of this range at around 4,300 for Ethereum, and that's where we're going to be seeing Ethereum move parabolic if we can reclaim this range. Previously, we've seen a liquidity grab towards the downside at the start of June, and we've also seen a liquidity grab towards the downside at the start of August. And right now, you can see in towards September, we've seen this liquidity grab now, and it's likely that if we can reclaim this range, we're going to get a final push for Ethereum towards the upside. Now, what's interesting about this liquidity grab is the fact that we had negative funding rates and we've had a lot of liquidations, and every time we've had this, it marked a major bottom in the market. So this is exactly what I'm actually predicting for Ethereum. I'm seeing that we're actually had a lot of liquidations and the funding rates was negative, and previously when this happened we had a massive move towards the upside after. So this is exactly why, you know, Ethereum is moving towards the upside, and I think it's going to continue to move towards the upside. So you can see we've also had a lot of open interest move towards the downside in this recent dump, which just indicates that a lot of over leveraged longs were wiped out. And this is very healthy, since a lot of the market makers like to wipe out a lot of liquidity first before the real move. So of course Ethereum right now actually came towards the downside to grab that liquidity, and the real move is going to be happening very soon. Now looking at that medium time frame, we can see right now that we retested this neckline for the V bottom scenario. So I talked about us actually reclaiming this level here and retesting it, and of course you can see this V over here, and that's the V bottom that I'm talking about right now. And we've actually started to retest that neckline, just like you can see by the picture. And when you get a pullback and retest, that's where you go parabolic. So it's likely Ethereum actually repeats history and actually copies 2020, where we had a V bottom, we retested a neckline before moving parabolic, and that's exactly what Ethereum's doing right now. So I do think that it's likely we can continue towards the upside. You can also see in this longer time frame that Ethereum was trading within this right angled descend and broadening wedge, and right now we're actually testing this support level again, and the target is going to be at 6,400 for Ethereum. So if we can actually continue to hold this and start to reclaim that range on the shorter time frames, then that's the level that we're going to start to move really parabolic for Ethereum, in my opinion. So that's looking quite good. And on that monthly time frame for September, the MACD is still bullish. We still have a green histogram tick where the EMA is crossed and angled towards the upside. So this just indicates that the strength in Ethereum is going to start picking up very soon. You can look at the last few times that we've had the bullish MACD cross. Ethereum's actually moved massively parabolic. So I think this time is not going to be any different for Ethereum, and we're going to continue to soar towards the upside in that longer time frame. The MACD flipping bullish on a monthly time frame just suggests the strength in Ethereum is there, and we're going to be moving parabolic very soon. And if that is the case, we're going to be seeing Ethereum versus Bitcoin actually break out of this 8-year trend line, and that's where we're going to be seeing a lot of moves flowing in towards Ethereum from Bitcoin, and that's where the rotation is going to be happening. And institutions are going to continue to actually bid Ethereum. Like we can see, they've already started, and I think it's going to even increase some more when we're going to be breaking that trend line. That just indicates that the attention is going to be on Ethereum a lot more, and of course this money is going to flow in towards your altcoins eventually, which is why I think that your total 3 is going to be moving towards the upside in Q4. You can see if we look at 2023 and 2024, this has happened previously where we've moved towards the upside, and right now we're following the trajectory quite nicely. So I do think that this year it's going to be another post-halving year where your altcoins actually go parabolic. So that's definitely going to be on the table. And for your altcoin season index in the shorter time frames, although they are performing, if you look at the yearly time frame, we don't have an altcoin season yet. So on that longer time frame, there is still time to accumulate. I do still think that we're going to get an altcoin season where we trade in towards the 75 mark for the higher time frames. So this is going to be the most accurate way to predict when that real altcoin season is coming. But right now, we still have time. So I think it's a beautiful opportunity to still accumulate Ethereum, to still accumulate your altcoins before they actually go parabolic. So that'll be it for me. Make sure to be following me on X to be staying up to date with all my updates. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a blessed rest of the day. Peace, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.